Hello, everybody. Are we live?
Hello.
How's it going?
I spilled water at a really awful time then. What a great way to start. Let's just double check we're actually up and running.
So we are testing out some new streaming software today, so hopefully it goes well. That's why we've got a bit of a different background. It's the background for the Batcave channel.
But we tried to dress it, but wasn't me.
Yeah, so if there's any issues, it's kind of in a test phase.
Yes.
Is anyone in the chat right now? Are we actually live? We can see comments, but I don't know. Is it comments or live chat? I can't.
It's
even
a
tell.
live chat.
It is.
believe,
Okay.
So
Cool.
yeah, because to be honest, at the time of day we're doing this, we don't even know how many people will be here. If people have all seen the episode yet,
yeah,
there will be a lot of people who probably won't watch it until tonight.
Yeah, we have a comment here from a Ted Clubberlang. You guys should at least wait till later in the day. It's going to be hard to discuss something that half your fans haven't even watched yet because it just came out. It's true. I mean, a few thousand people saw it at the advanced screenings and whatnot. And of course, they were released, 12 hours ago now. So the problem is, we have other commitments and we run a gym and stuff, and this is the only time we can fit this in. There's a class at 3 and then another one at 5 and another one at 7, so we just can't fit in any other time. So
yes. Although we have said from next week we are going to attempt to do this live at the time of release. So the UK people, it sucks because it's like 5 a.m. Yeah, 5 a.m.
Yeah.
But for the American audience, which we never really get a chance to do anything with, we're going to give that a go. And we'll just kind of see how it goes. We'll try this one week, we'll try something else next week, and we'll figure it out by the end of the season.
Another comment here from Ted. I'm not trying to be toxic. I'm a big fan of your content. We appreciate that,
Yes.
Ted. I wasn't taking it as a toxic comment. I just wanted to point out that, yeah, you are right. This is quite early to be doing it. It's just the only time we can do it. Julian says the pro/cons video is nice. Thank you very much. We have an episode 2 on its way up now, I believe. Within a few hours.
It will be up today.
Yes.
Because of this live stream, it's not finished.
Yeah. This new live streaming platform is great. We can bring up the comments so you guys can see it too.
How's everything quality, like video quality and audio quality? Does that all sound okay to you guys?
Look, we can even do this. That's a good view. I like this view. Oh. We can share our screens. If there's anything we want to talk about, we can do that. We're like real live pros now. I love this.
Yeah.
Great. Thanks, Ted. So a comment here from Antoine, I believe. If 2 cons should be put, it would be for the quick prologue. I so much wanted to see more in Valinor, the 2 trees, and their destruction. 100% agree with you there, my friend.
That is very true. But also, we had a couple of comments telling us off for basically conning the fact they don't have the rights to enough stuff. Which, it's a weird one because, it is a con. We want to see more. But also, there's nothing they could do about it. So it feels harsh. But yeah, it's definitely it was too quick. But I feel like they were very limited on what they could have, and that was just kind of their way of.
But it's definitely a positive as well, right? Because like we said in our pros and cons video, it's a good thing that we want to see more. That tells us that it was good what we did see. So I guess it's a positive thing.
Very much so.
There's a comment here about the acting being absolutely pathetic. I couldn't disagree with that more. I thought the acting was great. Okay, so there's a comment here we've got to address. Francesco. The episodes were great, the visuals, the dialogue, and the characters. The problem is that it's not very book accurate. Yes. Hard to argue with that. Of course, they make changes. It's an adaptation, and when you're adapting something, you were adapting something. So it's not a documentary. Peter Jackson did the same when he did The Lord of the Rings. There were huge changes from book to screen because a book and a movie are very different mediums and they just don't translate the same way.
Yeah, and the thing is, Tolkien knew that himself.
Yes.
Although he kind of openly admitted he probably wouldn't like adaptations, he accepted everything would have to be adapted for different mediums, which is why he did sell off the rights to so much stuff. Because he was like, well, I guess it's more, I'm not sure exactly what he would have thought, but in my head it's more, he just wants everyone to see it. He wants everyone to enjoy it. And if you get into the show and you love it, and you've never heard of Tolkien before, and then you go and read the books, that's the best case scenario. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's no reason it can't attract a whole new generation of people.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, there are bits that, okay, yeah, not book accurate, but they can't be.
Yeah. This is a good point here from... Oh, where'd it go? Too many comments coming in. So, things always have to be Hollywoodized, unfortunately, but still a great work of art brought to life. Yeah, things are Hollywoodized. We've talked about this and like the action set pieces, and they're a bit ridiculous.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, for modern day television, it was a good television show, right?
I mean,
okay.
Sorry, there's one thing I want to bring up. Just popped into my head was just being leaked online. Was a speech Jeff Bezos gave before the premiere, talking about his son. And basically, so Jeff Bezos is obviously claimed, as he's always going to anyway, but he's the right age, so it might be true, that he was a big fan of Tolkien before, but also his children are. And that he was basically warned by his kids to not F up this show. And obviously, there's at the end of it, there's always going to be a need to make a profit. That's just business. It is what it is. We wouldn't get anything if there was no money at the end of it, really. You never would have got the Peter Jackson movies if they didn't hope to make a profit off it. But the fact that hopefully that there's family at the very top with Bezos that actually want it to be good, hopefully that's a good sign. Could it be publicity? We don't know, but I'd like to try and believe it's not.
So comment here, I can't read the name, unfortunately. How would you rate it compared to The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit?
In the middle.
Yeah, I thought it was better than the Hobbit movies so far. It's hard to judge off 2 episodes when we need the full series. It's not The Lord of the Rings. No
I suppose, in a slightly more negative way to think about it. So Lord of the Rings, 10 out of 10, like all the way through. It's just incredible. Hobbit, Unexpected Journey, like had its moments where it was amazing. And then the other 2 got more ridiculous. So technically the Rings of Power could go that way because it has started at a certain level, which I feel like Unexpected Journey showed the same signs of potential of. It just fell off a cliff. Whereas this, I'm hoping, will rise up, not die.
Yeah. These comments. Okay, so Ted, I hope they... Oh, I didn't click on that one. But Patrick says, I hope they don't just zombify the orcs. The orc looked good, but they're not mindless. Yeah, very true. But I do like the horror vibe they're going for. It kind of worked. We'll go into the details of the episodes in a minute, and we will start with episode 1. So let's get that. Just made it in time. Welcome, Coach Shafi.
Hey.
Rahul says, honestly, much better than I expected. The negativity I've seen online seems to be extremely exaggerated. I 100% agree. It was better than we expected. We weren't expecting a lot. No, obviously we wanted it to be good.
Yeah, I was just... My realistic expectation was to go out of it going, it could have been worse.
Yeah.
But I'm also probably not that fussed on watching it multiple times.
Yeah.
Whereas now I want to watch the first 2 episodes again. So that's a very good sign. And I'm like impatiently waiting already for episode 3.
Porter brings up an interesting point here. It's not even a proper adaptation of the Second Age. Amazon doesn't have the rights to the Second Age, so if they can't even make the story accurate, why even bother to watch? Well, you're saying they don't have the rights to the Second Age. They have the rights to the appendices, and that includes a timeline of the Second Age. So technically, they do have the rights to the Second Age. The problem is the Second Age is the least detailed and thought out age of Tolkien's world. We know loads about the First Age and the Third Age, but there's like huge gaps within the Second Age where it's like, okay, this year so and so was born, and then 200 years later so and so died, or there's huge gaps. So it gives them creative license to make new characters, make new stories, as long as they're not changing the key plot points within Tolkien's story. Which, although yes, they are changing some characters and they're compressing some timelines, I don't think they're going to be changing big points. So that's why you should continue to watch it.
Yes.
I'm curious, can you guys hear music? Is there music playing?
Let's test this out. I'm going to log into our own stream.
Yeah, I'm not actually sure.
I can hear music.
Oh, nice.
So you guys can hear music.
I love it. Okay, yes. Thank you.
It's lovely when a plan comes together. Just curious, for those who have watched our live streams before, is this better? Is this like a better setup? It feels a lot better to us.
We're not permanently going to have it in front of this backdrop.
We'll hopefully be putting it back to the other backdrop. This was more of a tester one. So,
what do you guys think about the orcs and the CGI? I personally thought they looked pretty good. I didn't have an issue with any of the CGI. The fact they're using practical orcs for one is always going to be a win for me. I thought they looked great. I love the horror vibe. As for CGI, it was like the highest peak of the top Hollywood budget movies. Like it was, you'd never believe it's a TV show. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I agree. The orcs were phenomenal, and I like the fact the orcs aren't the CGI, so that's always a bonus. Yeah, I'll be more interested to see when they start getting massive numbers of them, because there was a couple of clips from the trailers that show like big groups and stuff. There's one shot of them in one of the last trailers where they get like taken out by two horses and a rope. Those kind of bits. Basically a lot of the action. I feel like I'm more worried about at this stage. I feel like they've like settled my nerves on so many bits, but when they get to some bigger like set pieces, I haven't been completely calmed by the smaller ones that we've been shown in the first couple of episodes.
Yeah. Antoine says here, I've seen you send this a few times. I apologize if we're missing comments, guys. They come through quite quick and we do miss them. Obviously, there is an option to super chat if you need your comment highlighted to us. We will 100% see it. The episodes were visually superb, but at times so fast. I just want to put on and admire the images, really. I totally get that. I understand that it was quite fast moving. They had a lot to show us, right? So they had 7 different areas, I believe, we went through in Middle Earth.
Yes.
So I get what you're saying, but I also understand from their point of view why they moved through it so quickly. Okay, should we start talking specifically more now about episode 1?
Why not?
Do you guys see that? Is it this? That was cool, right? Oh, hey. We're like pro live streamers now. So let's talk about episode 1. First of all, give us your thoughts on a rating. Tell us what you thought. Give us an out of 10. An out of 10. Just very quickly. Just episode 1. Okay, while we're waiting for some things to come in. Hang on. Let's talk about this comment. Are we such shills that we turned off downvotes? I have no idea what you're talking about.
Downvotes, as in
like disliking it.
Dislike, you can still dislike it if you really want to.
Yeah, I don't think you can turn that off, can you?
Hold on, let me just log in elsewhere a second. Okay, so we've got 8s, 8 6s, 5 at best, 1.
1 6 7 3 6 8 6 7 3 8 8 6 8.5 8 6 9 8 5 6. Yes, 10 being good. 1. Is this show for everyone? No. Is the show for me? No. But I'm glad that Broken Sword liked it. -1 out of 10.
Ooh.
Rick, that's fair enough. Not everything is for everyone. Yes, we enjoyed it. And we've said this in our reviews. There's certainly things we don't like. And obviously, as Tolkien fans, people keep telling us we're not Tolkien fans for saying it was good. We're huge Tolkien fans, of course. And there were things we did not like, things we were very unhappy with, and things that we definitely wouldn't have done ourselves if we were making the decisions. But if you're okay letting those things go and just going into it to watch a good piece of television, it was great. I think 7 to 8 seems to be the common theme here. There's a lot of very, very low ones, but that's the case with everything. If you watch our review, we gave it a 7. I think episode 1 was a bit slow.
Yeah, it's one of those as well. Like with the review, obviously episode 2 pros and cons isn't out yet, but we rated episode 2 higher on average. But by the end of the season, those scores may change in general. Over there's so many things that we need to find out the payoffs to decide if they've really set them up well. There might be things that we go, oh, that was a red herring, that meant nothing at all, so actually it's disappointing. Or there might be stuff that we go like, oh, we didn't realize that was a setup.
This comment is the key to watching this show, I think. Watch it with an open mind. Remember, It's an adaptation. YouTube doesn't show dislikes anymore. That's just YouTube. That's not just us. And I will also add, for people who use extensions, they're not accurate. It's been proven many times. I know people say about it and how things get like disliked to hell and stuff, but
those numbers that they show are not actually accurate at all. I don't know how they work them out, but yeah, it's not.
So Antoine says, "Yeah, I was afraid for the costumes from the photos, but on video it works really well." Yeah, I wasn't worried about the costumes from pictures. I quite like some of the designs, but in video, yeah, it all looked in world. It all looked great. I absolutely loved the Rondia's wooden armor.
Yes,
I thought it was lovely.
Yeah, there's like bits that just in general, not they looked badly made. There were things I wasn't fussed on design wise. Yeah, like if I had to give one example, one thing I wasn't as fussed on was we'll get to the whole idea of sailing to Valinor in a minute, but the armor they wore was the ritual armor. Wasn't as fussed on the design of that. It didn't look quite as elegant as you're being sent to basically live in heaven. And yeah, it was a bit like, nah. But apart from that, I think the design was generally really well done.
So Amanda says, "You're not Tolkien if you like this." I'm not Tolkien. I'm Jake. So yeah, I'm allowed to like it. Thank you for this comment, JD $. I definitely thought it was good, and I'm glad I gave it a try. You guys are definitely Lord of the Rings fans. Lol. Haters are gonna hate. Yeah,
yes. That's the thing is, and we'll probably get more hate for saying this. But I feel like a lot of people have gone into the show with the determination that they're going to hate it.
Yeah.
So it really didn't actually matter what was shown.
Yeah, the problem is so many people have made their minds up so early and said such disgusting things that it would almost be embarrassing for them to turn around and go, you know what, that was actually okay.
Yeah.
Because we're not saying this is the best show ever. We are not saying that at all.
No.
We're just saying it definitely doesn't deserve the hate that it's been getting.
I mean, if it was that great, it would get more than 7 out of 10 for the first episode. But it's one of those that I wish it was possible to do the social experiment of showing the same people the Fellowship of the Ring for the first time after the same build-up and see if they go to that and go, nope, it was dreadful. What on earth was Arwen doing there? What on earth so-and-so? And why has Aragorn got a beard? He should be clean-shaven. Why has Legolas got blonde hair? Would that be the thing now? Or was it that much better that it wouldn't have mattered still?
This is an interesting comment. Galadriel should have been written as a different or new character. I think I would agree with that.
Yes, I would. And we've been quite open with saying that we feel that part of the story that we're following is the weakest of the show so far.
Yeah.
I mean, they're about to come to Numenor, so we don't have a clue what's going to change in that regards and if it's going to improve a bit there.
Yeah.
But so far, I would agree that they could have done it better.
Yeah, I absolutely love Morfydd. Morfydd, I think is the proper way of pronouncing it. I absolutely love her performance. I think she was great in it. But yeah, it's just the character itself just doesn't feel particularly Galadriel to me. And I think bringing her in as a new character, this character as a different or new character would have been a smarter decision.
Yeah.
She's not a bad character. She's just not Galadriel.
Yes.
Favorite character in episode 1 and 2 and least?
Favorite? Durin.
Yes, I would agree with Durin.
I loved him.
Least favorite character? See, again, it goes back to Galadriel. I like Galadriel. I like the performance. I like what they're doing with her. I just don't like the fact that that's Galadriel because it's not. So I kind of want to say that.
I feel like it. Okay, I'm going to say this, but it's going to depend on how they carry on with the character after this point. But I'm torn between Bronwyn and Theo. Because, it's... I just don't know about them yet.
Yeah,
I'm not sure, but it's...
a lot of potential, though.
Yeah, like we've talked about it on our other videos and touching it now briefly, was that we're both feeling the same. If we're paranoid that they're going to turn that side into just a will they, won't they love story. Which, with what they're finding, what they're doing, there's so much more to it than that. So I hope it doesn't dissolve into just that as the main thing. So if they do that, then they will become much less like characters. If they really focus on the bigger issue and the grander scheme that they're building up to, then they will probably be more like characters.
Yeah.
But just from those episodes, I'd probably say them.
I really don't get that if you like the show, then apparently you're not a real Lord of the Rings fan. I don't get it either. It's a crazy opinion. I love the music. Isn't it Howard Shore again? The main title is Howard Shore.
Yes, and I think he advised.
The rest was made by Bear someone. Fantastic. We actually met him. He's fantastically talented.
I'm gonna find his name because he deserves to actually get a proper shout out.
He also did the music for the God of War games, I believe. And yeah, is super, super talented. I have had the soundtrack on repeat in my car. It's great. I like these positive comments as well. We get a lot of hate, but it's nice to see some positivity. I enjoyed both episodes. Can't wait for more. Thanks for the comment, Mandrel. Is it going to be one episode for each week from now on, or two? It's going to be one per week from now on. Frustratingly for us UK fans, it is at 5 a.m. And I think we're going to do, if you guys are enjoying this format of live stream, I think we will do a watch party and we'll kind of have it like this. Well, we can't show the thing, obviously, but we'll show some stuff, I guess. I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll play with it. If you
we'll
want
have to put like a... I can't even load it. We'll have to put like a clock or something and just show when we hit play. Watch all at the same time. Probably not a lot gets said during the actual show, but then we'll be there right for the discussion straight afterwards. And because it's only one, it's only the maximum an hour, not 2 hours or over 2 hours.
4 out of 10. Besides the Galadriel debacle, the story isn't properly being built up and has no clear focus. These 2 episodes are very much introductory to the world.
Yeah, we're trying to set up several different areas at the point. So, like, if they don't manage to be clear by the end of the season, I would agree with that point. But I feel like they still are within the realm of time to be figuring that out because we haven't even been introduced to everyone yet. We've still got the whole island of Numenor to see yet. Yeah. So.
Khazad-dûm is just perfect. Yes, it was. We're still talking episode 1 for now, though, guys. Let's keep it on episode 1. We'll move on to episode 2 in a bit. Would have loved to have seen more of Finrod in the prologue. Yes, that would have been great. The shots of the battle in episode 1 in the prologue were just
I know.
Beautiful. Obviously, there's going to be spoilers here if you haven't seen it yet, but I'll give you a second if you want to leave. This is a discussion. There's a shot of a dragon and an eagle. Oh boy, I wanted more of that. There was also a shot of Finrod and the camera came back and an arrow hits an orc in the face. It was just great.
Yeah. But then they also did another one of those classic like action tropes of when they're like the orc and him are next to each other and he shouts and it looks like they're not actually doing anything. They're just like... Yeah.
Comment here, Galadriel jumping off the boat was just the most ridiculous scene so far. Like WTF.
Okay, that leads us on to then. Let's talk about the boat and Valinor and Gil-galad.
Yeah, this was... I mean, there's a few comments going around here about this. We actually agree with you. Yes. We hated that. We have said in our episode 1 breakdown that this is obviously some kind of story ploy to get her to Numenor, right? We don't understand why... This is Galadriel, remember? Why she didn't just say during the ceremony with Gil-galad that, look, if you guys aren't going to help me find Sauron, I know some people that will, the Numenorians. And then she just goes to Numenor. She obviously has to know about Numenor because her good friend is Elrond, who is brother of Elros, the first king of Numenor. So, of course, she knows about Numenor. So this whole going to Valinor at Gil-galad's command, I guess, and then deciding that once she gets there, she's going to jump off the boat and swim back to Middle-earth. It's just crazy decision, in my opinion. And by a mile, my least favorite thing about the entire show.
And it's one of those things as well, which is quite weird with what they've done with the show is obviously they know there's going to be people who don't like any of these law changes. But they start off with so many. It's almost like I would have understood it more if they'd started quite accurate and built up to more additional stuff or changes. But instead, they went pretty full on from the beginning, and it obviously has upset some people.
Let's take a moment to appreciate how quickly your face has changed to discuss when you said, let's talk about the boat scene. Yeah, look, we've been pretty positive about this show so far, but that sequence... wasn't for me or James. We didn't like that.
Like we will say it again, it's not the perfect show. They didn't nail everything.
Another moment here that we weren't pleased with. Galadriel versus Troll. The Troll kills quite a few highly skilled elven warriors that are basically useless, but she slays it effortlessly, really, being the only one that does something. Mary Sue.
Yes, we did say this, didn't we?
Yeah.
In our video that, like, I hope she. It's a weird one because she is. Like, she's seen the light of the trees. She is a great elf. She will be better than a lot of them in certain ways. Whether she needs to be the ultimate warrior,
Just picture the wrestler.
Not the wrestler. That would be a very big lore change. Actually. It's like I was saying earlier. Generally the action set pieces are the bits that I'm kind of most worried about with the show. Like everything in, like as everyone's going to keep doing, if we compare it to the Peter Jackson movies, I felt most of the action was quite like realistic, and they had moments of it in the show, but then they also had moments like this, and it felt like they could have done it better.
So, guys, comments like this, that's not productive in any way. If you think it sucked, that's cool. Everyone has an opinion. We enjoyed it. It had its negative points, like we've been discussing. But tell us why. Why was it utter garbage? Can't just say it is.
More than up for a discussion.
Yeah, this is Rings of Power discussion. Galadriel's a really good swimmer. Get over it.
I mean, she might be.
Okay, this is a good comment here for a little discussion from Jacob. Nice name. What do you think are the biggest or most significant lore changes so far? So now, here we go. Here we go with the discussion. Okay, well, Galadriel's the obvious one, but we've talked about that quite a bit in this video so far. So we'll go with that. Gil-galad. I mean, how he is able to just go, you guys can go to Valinor now, doesn't really make sense. Also, I didn't really like the fact that Elrond was writing his speech and made him come across as a little bit like inadequate. Like, is he not capable?
Yeah, you know? Like I mean, obviously everyone reads them how they read them. They take their own opinions. I've never read elves as someone who need to practice those things. That's just something like they can sing their songs, they can do all that. It all comes naturally. They don't need to practice like that, to me. So yeah, but there are hints in episode 2, obviously, that maybe Gil-galad is not as useless as they perhaps made him seem at the beginning. That there's a bit more going on in the background of all things. Yeah, sorry, that's kind of getting away from the point at the moment.
Law changes, James.
Yes, law changes. Well, that's what I was trying to say. So yeah, it looks like they're hinting at the changing Gil-galad quite a bit, but they might be trying to bring him back to what we all know more. It's again one of these that we need some reveals before we can fully judge.
There were some bits in the prologue as well, like more glossed over than changed. But for example, how Finrod died was kind of not really explained properly. It was like, yeah, he just died in the war. But
yeah, I mean, it was obviously they showed like the scratch marks from the werewolves and stuff, so they were basically saying how he died without saying it. I'm guessing that was just something they couldn't say, so they didn't have the rights to. But there's no reason someone can't be dead with a load of cuts. Like it's, you can get away with that. But it is a shame because it's something I would have loved to at least had a glimpse of just like him in a dungeon kind of thing. Like,
yeah, for sure. It was so disappointing to see Khazad-dûm flourishing for a few seconds, then the scene goes to a tiny cave set for them to smash rocks for a while. I get that because the shots we did get of Khazad-dûm, the establishing shots of it, were fantastic. The highlight of the 2 episodes for me. So it would have been nicer to spend more time in that, I agree. But I quite enjoyed the rock smashing scene. I get what you mean, though. A little kind of tiny cave set could have been more grand than that, for sure. Jake says, "Hi guys, glad to finally join a live stream." Welcome, Jake. Thanks for coming on board. Wow, we've missed so many comments. We were miles behind.
Okay, we'll have to let's just catch up, and people are gonna have to chat again and stuff.
Yeah, repeat yourselves, guys, if we're missing your comments, or again, feel free to super chat because they are highlighted to us. Everything else gets missed.
Okay.
Haven't missed any super chats, have we? No.
No, I don't think so.
I'm sure. Lord of the Rings. Totally agree on Gil. Oh, let's get this up. Totally agree on Gil-galad. So odd that he decides when people sail west. Yeah. Matt, thanks for tuning in, mate. By the way, that was one of those things for us that we kind of like looked at each other a bit.
Yeah. It was literally like I have those moments where something happens and I'm like, have I just forgotten something really obvious? Yeah. Or have they really just done that? And yeah, it was very much they've really just done that moment, but I just don't understand the purpose.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just ridiculous, really. But nice to see.
Another comment here about Gil-galad. He felt kind of fake needing to have his speeches written.
Yeah,
he is such a high and mighty king of the elves that it just I didn't get on with that very much. I don't know if it was done to try and make Elrond look better. I don't know.
It is a shame.
Okay. Yeah. What? Okay, guys, try not to spam comments too much. It's really hard to keep up with things if you do. Okay, this is. Should we do?
You're in control of the mouse.
Oh my god! So the comments are coming through, guys. I can't click on them. Yeah, Matt. How early is it over in the US? We thought no one was going to tune into this because I mean it's like 1:30 in the afternoon here.
Yeah, it's why we've had our debates about doing the watch parties because of the time.
Yeah.
It being 5 a.m. here, and it's just.
Yeah, Matt. How have your watch parties gone? Because we've been and ahhing about doing it because it's 5 a.m. for us. Okay, Shaka says it was just so slow, both of the episodes. Yeah, I think episode 1 was slower than episode 2. But I mean, this was made as essentially a movie introduction to the world for us. The first 2 episodes were always intended to be basically one part, and they were to be treated as an introduction. They were directed by the same person. After they shot episodes 1 and 2, there was a 5-month break in production. I'm not sure if you guys are aware, which was planned regardless of COVID. So, yeah, I think they are very much the setup episodes, so it makes sense why they are slower.
Yeah, and it's also why people may not realize it, and it may not be the case, or it may. The rest of the season could have a completely different feel to these first 2 episodes. It's almost like, well, basically was different teams working on them. So, yeah, what we get next could be a completely different experience. We don't really know.
Yeah. 8:30 a.m., but I kind of sort of pulled an all-nighter editing the episode 1 breakdown.
Oh, wow.
We know that feeling, man. Hello from Portland, Oregon. What's up? The dialogue was trying too hard to sound. I don't know if I get... Some lines were a little bit on the nose, but some of the dialogue I loved. Again, if you go back and watch our full breakdowns, I talked about a few lines in particular that really won me over. I thought some of the dialogue was a lot better than I was expecting it to. Even some of the dialogue from the trailers where we were like, oh, just... Perfect example here being the skies are strange. Like, in the trailer, it just seemed a little odd to me. In the context of
was that your Lenny Henry?
That was my Lenny Henry. Nailed it. In the context of the scene itself, I thought it worked great, and I really enjoyed his character. Yeah, the watch party was a lot of fun. Oh,
yeah, 4.5 hours. Woo. That's fair play, that.
Dude, yeah. I mean, we would love to do that, but the problem is we run a gym.
I mean, yeah, well, potentially for the watch parties, we can, because that's just stupid hour in the morning.
We should just start at 5 a.m. and just run through until we finish the next day.
Yeah, 12 hours. Let's do it.
Yeah, I'm in.
That's a fair point to bring up. The one underneath, Joseph. I didn't like Galadriel being bullied in the beginning. Come on, yeah. I didn't like getting Galadriel being bullied in the beginning. So out of place. I did find this one a little bit weird, and I need to do like a proper rewatch to kind of take it all in again a bit better. But yeah, it seemed weird that like the elves kind of picked on each other.
Yeah.
Like it's another thing where the race of the elves are a bit of an maybe slightly unusual one. They haven't done how a lot of people expected them to be as a race. So yeah.
So I just wanted to check something real quick. There's a comment here. What do you guys think about the 2.3 thousand dislikes on your review video? I'm assuming you're using an extension because I've just gone and checked and it's nowhere near that.
Yeah, we mentioned this earlier. Those extensions do not work.
Yeah.
They are completely exaggerated and they do not accurately represent anything that's actually on the video.
In fact, 2.3 thousand is over 3 times the dislikes of what it's actually on. So those are way off.
Yeah.
But yes, there are more dislikes on that video than most of our videos. And what do we say about it?
But there's still more likes.
Yeah.
It's still more highly liked than disliked. In general, people have been positive, but leave less comments.
Yeah. As for the dislikes, I mean, we didn't make the show, so it doesn't affect us.
Yeah.
People are hating on us for saying that it was decent and we enjoyed it. It's a good TV show. We gave it 7 out of 10. I don't know. whatever. Elrond should be the main character, not Galadriel. That's an interesting choice.
Well, I feel like this is something we touched on a live stream like years ago now, or however long ago. And that he would have been a really good choice to focus on a bit more. And there's no reason they couldn't have. But it's just, yeah. I guess there's just not. It could have been any of them, really. Like there's like the main select few they could have done. But they seem to be trying to have. Like, I almost felt like it was less just Galadriel focused and more like there was different groups all kind of equally important at the moment, and that's like one character who seemed way more important than everyone else.
Yeah, I'm a huge Tolkien fan. This show is sacrilege. It's a sacrilege and a middle finger to Tolkien himself. It looked good, but deviates so far from what Tolkien wrote, and you get a disastrous show. 1 out of 10 book episodes. Fair enough. Yeah, if that's your opinion, I'm not going to argue with it. But what is it that deviates? Like, why is it a middle finger to Tolkien? That I don't get. I understand that things have been changed, but I don't know. It's not that massive to me. I will admit that we've had to let go of a few things in order to enjoy it as Tolkien fans, but I'm glad we did. Like, obviously, there's things we have issues with. Obviously, we've addressed them in our pros and cons, but why would you want to hate? That's what confuses me. It's certainly not a middle finger to Tolkien. That's ridiculous. Another one from Nerd of the Rings. I thought Galadriel getting bullied was kind of cliche. I accept elf kids can be jerks because look at some of their role models. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, the sad thing about that was it was what opened the show, right?
Yeah.
And when that happened, I was a little bit like, oh no.
Yeah.
I saw a comment earlier. Someone said something about them opening the show with elven children that were essentially just how kids act in 2022 in real life, which was a bit silly. And I kind of agree with that. But it's also not enough to make me say this show sucks. You know, it was just one of those things. I was like, not the best opener.
Yeah, because it's something that, again, it's something we touched on in our other videos a bit. But there's the whole thing as well with the time compression. Not time compression, but the episodes being reduced from 10 episodes to 8. And it makes me wonder if there's anything maybe even in the prologue and stuff that had been cut because they had to cut out 2 whole episodes worth of time. That maybe that some of these things might have had a little bit more context to them. Obviously, with the kids bullying stuff, probably not. But yeah, there's some stuff that it does make me wonder that if maybe we ended up getting a trimmed down version. Like, will we get an extended version of the show? Who knows?
Council of the Rings, got to go again, but it was interesting to hear some of your thoughts. See you around. Catch you later. People disagree. Who cares? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, so the story 2 out of 10, CGI 9 out of 10, Galadriel killing troll in Bollywood style and jumping off the boat and swimming back to Middle-earth. Yeah, those were our biggest issues with the series for sure. We have said that the Galadriel storyline so far is absolutely the weakest of all the storylines. I have very much enjoyed Khazad Dûm. I have enjoyed the Southlands. And I've enjoyed like Celebrimbor and Elrond. I've enjoyed all that.
And the Harfoots.
And the Harfoots. The Harfoots have been great. Let's talk about the Harfoots. Right. Again, we're losing loads of comments, guys. I apologize if we are skipping over you. It's hard to keep up. Let's talk about the Harfoots. We'll cover Harfoots and Southlands, then we'll go into episode 2.
Yes. So yeah, Harfoots, episode 1, we obviously it all ends with the meteor. So all we get in episode 1 is kind of an introduction to what they're like as a people, which is very much like borrowers. They live off the land, they hide. If anyone comes near, they make it look like there's nothing there at all. Which, yeah, that's kind of what they were. They were wanderers, and there's not much known about them. I like the little hints that you get where, like in the writings, they mention about being like nimble with their hands and stuff, and then you see how they're very much like they like picking stuff and like making stuff with their hands. I think they're quite well represented for what little we get about them in the writing.
Yeah, and people that are saying the Harfoots are, I don't know, like made up characters, they're not. I mean, if you just read what Tolkien wrote about them, they pretty much nailed what he said. So
it's a weird one, and got a video coming out about this in the next couple of days. But with the origins of the Hobbits, like people have got this assumption that the Hobbits didn't exist before the Shire, or like that is the very beginning of them, and it wasn't. They were around in earlier times, but their histories were never recorded in the same way they were later. So it does kind of leave that blank slate of there could have been people who did stuff within the Harfoots. Obviously, there's got to be a reasonable level you take that to.
Mm-hmm.
They can't be the reason that the Last Alliance was formed, kind of thing, because it's basically written that the elves are only really concerned with their own stuff, and they wrote their own histories down and not much else. So they can't really be involved with them, but they could potentially be involved with men or with dwarves, because we know that the Harfoots basically lived at the foot of the mountains of a lot of the dwarves. So there's no reason those relationships would make sense to not include.
Yeah.
So realistically, I think that although I'm still unsure of how they're going to stay involved, whatever they do with the stranger, he's unlikely to stay with them. He's likely to do something else afterwards. And whether a couple of them follow him or what, I don't really know, like, their long-term, like, importance and involvement. But for the sake of them being there, I've got no issues.
Yeah. That was long.
Yeah.
This comment made me laugh. I don't know why, but the hair on the elves really made it hard for me to immerse myself. They look like actors from 2022 who forgot to put on their wigs. I mean, to be honest, when the trailers came out, it's something I had an issue with too. But once I watched the show, it didn't bother me in the slightest. If I was making the show, they'd all have long hair, the elves. But I mean, it didn't bother me. It's a hair length. Why would that?
Yeah, it didn't.
Do you struggle to immerse yourself in our live stream because we're both very short-haired?
I am.
Hey, look, if elves could forge weapons and dwarves could live in the mountains, then they are capable of cutting their hair. Elves didn't feel magical. No, they didn't. I'll give you that. They felt more like warriors, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, the most magical they felt was the entry into Valinor part.
Yeah.
But that was more to do with the entry into Valinor as opposed to them. They just like to sing a song. Yeah.
Let's go on to this before we go on to episode. Before we go on to the Southland story. Who is the stranger? This is an interesting discussion. Should we cover this in episode 2?
Yeah, because he's not actually seen till episode 2, is he? Yeah.
We will come back to this in a second, okay? Let's cover some Southland stuff.
Okay.
So, how do you guys feel about Arondir, Bronwyn, and Theo? Let's cover that story. Again, Dom, ask this question when we get to episode 2. We're covering episode 1 stuff in a minute, but please, we do want to come back to this, so ask this again in a second.
I suppose one thing we could cover to do with the stranger quickly, actually, which is episode 1. I saw it earlier, and I apologize, I don't remember who the comment was off. I'm talking about the line the meteor went.
Yeah.
And the fact that geography-wise, it doesn't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest, I didn't really consider that an issue. I felt like that was just one of those. They were just going through the places, showing that they see the meteor. I didn't really take much more of it than that. I know, it doesn't make sense if it was supposed to be in order or by directions. I don't believe, unless it was really going crash. But yeah, it was just kind of a thing.
Hey, what's up, fantasy cartographer? Thanks for tuning in. A lot of people talking about the stranger. We will cover that in a second. We're talking about Arondir and the Southlands right now. So, first things first, the look of the Southlands. I mean, where we are should be a lot more, I don't know, just darker. It was just so green. That was my issue with it, I guess.
It should be, it should be more eastern. We know the lands of Harrod and Rune are a lot more deserty, and it's far more closer to that. They can be green. I'm not saying it has to be just sand, but it felt very much Rohanish and a bit too much.
Yeah, there's actually 2 comments here that I agree with, both of them. First one from Snow White is me. The Southland storyline feels needed to show how Mordor came to be, but the love interest between Arondir and Bronwyn seems a little unnecessary. I will agree with that. I do not like, or I do not want a love story between the two of them. Again, we broke this down in more detail. It shouldn't happen, and I don't like it. I really hope that it doesn't go. Will they? Won't they? Yes, he's going to tell her he loves her. Oh, he's not. Oh, they're going to kiss. No, they're not. Like that will grind me down real quick. Another one here. I found Arondia and Bronwyn's acting a bit wooden and wasn't sure about their chemistry, but that's probably just me being picky. I didn't find it wooden. I feel like they haven't had an opportunity to really act yet, if you know what I mean. I like Arondia so far. He comes across as a very, I don't know, just kind of strong, brooding elf.
I mean, we had the opportunity to be on the Halfling podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we recorded it yesterday. And this was a question that kind of came up about people who were brought in who were probably more accurate, like the new characters. And my answer for that was Arondia, because I actually feel like he is more of what I would expect a book elf to act like. Might feel a bit more wooden, but I also feel like that's how they would act to men. They wouldn't show them anything. They would treat them a bit lean. And it's kind of like it kind of is hinted at with the way that he's like, well, you followed Morgoth, so we keep an eye on you. Like you're not particularly good people, despite the fact that you probably are not the same people who were there at that time. So yeah, I actually felt like he was not a bad representation of what elves maybe were closer to, even though he's not necessarily as close to the rest of the elves in the actual show, if that makes sense.
This comment is ridiculous. We are afraid to say our true critique because we would get cancelled. That's not even slightly true. We are absolutely saying our true critique because, we've talked about how much we disliked Galadriel's storyline. A load of the decisions we've disliked, I just don't understand. It's our channel. We can say what we want. So that's what we're doing. Acting was hit and miss. I had no issues with 95% of the acting. There was a few moments where I was a bit like, that wasn't great. But overall, I thought they did a great job. I loved the cast. I saw a comment a minute ago about Arondia's hairstyle. That really didn't feel elven. I'll agree with that. But I don't know, just kind of worked with his look.
Yeah.
He felt elven. His hairstyle didn't. But I'm not going to let a hairstyle put me off a show.
Yeah. It's one of those things, like we've said many times before, they're choices that we can't understand the thought process behind. It wouldn't have changed anything story-wise to leave them with long hair. It doesn't improve anything by giving them short hair. It felt like one of those changing something for the sake of changing something. Yeah, so it doesn't make the story worse, doesn't make the story better. It's just a thing.
Okay, we're getting a lot of comments now about episode 2. So why don't we switch over to episode 2? Okay. I'm getting a lot of questions here. Let's see about Disa. Where have they all gone? All right, let's talk about Khazad-dûm and Disa and Durin. Khazad-dûm was the standout for us. Here we go. Disa, Durin is the best couple. Hopefully, Halbrand and Galadriel won't happen. If Halbrand and Galadriel happens, that might be it for me watching the show.
Yeah, no, that's I'm hoping, because there's obviously that clip from the trailers which shows them they have that like flirty back and forth somewhere on Numenor, and they better be just bad, out of place context. Like a lot of the stuff that we have now seen has been shown to have been quite badly placed out of context, which in the show makes sense. Hopefully that scene makes more sense in the grand scheme of it. Yeah, because they cannot do that. They can't. Like, if they somehow introduce more than one elf-man relationship in the show, like introducing any, I feel like is wrong. Introducing multiple is very much on the disgrace line. It's just not needed. And again, I don't see the benefit story-wise to even doing it.
Someone said, Hunter, because you are a lore channel, does it not upset you the extreme changes to the character, like a fight in short Galadriel? I mean, height doesn't bother me.
It's like, okay, I could say they upset me, but that might be a bit strong. Like, I would love to see the accurate representation. Like, I would love to see, realistically, a film of Cate Blanchett again. That would be incredible, but it wouldn't really work in the crossover. Technically it's a new universe, so it's just not the same. Like, yeah, I would love it if they were accurate with her. But sadly, that's not what we've got.
Yeah.
And I'm willing to embrace and give a chance to this one and see where they go. But we have been over with. She is the weakest part, character-wise, of this show.
Yeah, performance-wise, she's great.
Yeah.
But I'll reiterate, let's not forget that book and television or film are very, very different mediums, and one doesn't necessarily translate perfectly to the other if done exact, right? Things have got to be adapted, because this is an adaptation, to make them work.
It's hard to know if they... Like, I don't know which one would have been accepted worse now. What they've done with Galadriel, or if they introduced a new character who is the Galadriel of this show. Would people be more upset? They go, oh, why aren't you using the characters that are there? Or would they be more upset, like now, where they've changed an existing one? Because they obviously feel the need to have this kind of character in there, but they've chosen to alter an existing one to make it more familiar.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I don't know what the best case to go with that is.
Super chat from Chris LFC92. Thank you very much. We really appreciate the support.
Sorry, is that
Liverpool? Might have to remove the comment. I'm just kidding. Take off Lord of the Rings brand and the show is good fantasy. So much lore breaking that even confused me. Still going to watch the rest and see what happens. First of all, yes, if you remove the Lord of the Rings brand, it's a very good fantasy show. There is no doubt about that. I would be rating it 9s and 10s if it was just an original fantasy show, for sure. As for the lore breaking, yeah, there is a fair amount of it, but like I keep saying, not everything can be adapted perfectly to the screen from the page. So I understand it. Some of them you have to just let go to try and enjoy the show. But it's nice to see that you're going to watch the rest and see what happens. I think everyone should do that. You shouldn't judge an entire show from 2 episodes. They could turn it around and it could be the best thing ever. Who knows?
Yeah, so long. You got to give it a season. You got to let them give a chance to get somewhere and not just give up on setup, because there's so many shows that don't feel that great until you get to the payoff of any setups. And also, you have set up the Reds, and that upsets me now.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about this. On a scale from 0 to 10, how much is accurate series to the lore? Talking about the first episode. I'd maybe say a 5, 6. I mean, a lot of stuff is accurate. The stuff that they've changed is more character-based than anything. They've compressed the time, which I don't like, but I understand for storytelling purposes. It's very difficult to have an ongoing show where some characters are immortal and some aren't if you're spreading it over thousands of years. It just doesn't work. So I get some of their decisions and some of their lore-breaking decisions. But yeah, I'd probably say a 5 or 6.
I'd probably go 4 or 5.
Okay.
Yeah. I think just because some of the stuff they have broken have just been big things, like the Valinor thing.
Yeah. I honestly don't feel a hugely faithful show would hit with audiences. You have to change to make it work and bring in those that don't know the lore. They change Game of Thrones too. Yeah, people seem to be forgetting this. It's not just Game of Thrones. Like, even if you take something more recent that was made by Amazon, like The Boys, that's also adapted from book to screen, albeit comic book. But things were changed, and it's a highly successful and fantastic show. So yes, things do need to be changed, but for some reason when it comes to Tolkien, people are not receptive of it changing. Sorry guys, just trying to read through lots and lots of comments. As disappointed as I am, I know we're only in 2 of 50. I'll keep with it in hopes. Invisible Woman, I think that's the way to go. Even if you didn't like these episodes, it's worth sticking to it because they were very much introductory episodes.
Yeah. Although, is it 40 now, not 50? If this season's been reduced
I think it might be 40
are they all... That's a question, if anyone knows the answer. Are all seasons now 8 episodes, or will future ones be 10 as well? I saw a comment... Oh, we've had a super chat.
Oh, we've had 2. Bear with us.
Okay.
Could Arondir be Theo's father who ran away? Ooh.
No, because he would have the ears, wouldn't he?
He'd be half elven, so I don't think so. I didn't really think about the context of that line, but no.
No, unless it's going to be a case of he was captured by an orc, and Arondir is going to go find him now when he's been captured.
Yeah, I think that's more like
in the thing of slaves, and he bonds with this man, and then it's like, oh my god, it's his dad.
Yeah. I mean, it's an interesting question, but no,
Yeah.
I don't think that's the case. Really appreciate the super chat, though. Thank you very
And
much.
Also, I just want to point out, and it's something that we have said in our other videos again, but these kind of questions are the ones that make me glad they have actually added some new things in.
Yes.
The fact that we can have theories and discussions on things, and we don't just go, "Oh, well, obviously no," because
The book
X,
said
Y,
this.
Z happened.
Yeah,
And
can you
they're following
imagine
that exactly?
Can you imagine the show was 100% exactly what Tolkien wrote? It would just be like, well, in the next episode, this is going to happen,
Yeah.
and then this, and then this.
Yeah.
Because they've introduced new characters and storylines, we get to speculate and theorize, which is the most fun part about being a fan of a universe like this. But thank you very much for the super chat, Kynan O. Next up, we have one from Hunter S. Sorry I had come in late. I think I was so excited to see a second age adaptation that this seems disappointing, that they think they can change things and call it the same. First of all, thank you very much for the super chat. I think it was almost the opposite with us. We were so excited to see a second age adaptation, and then we've seen the trailers and stuff, and we're like, oh, maybe not doing what we hoped. But then by the time we saw it, it was great. Yes, they changed things, but I sound like a broken record, but they have to. It's an adaptation, and it wouldn't work if it was 100% faithful. It just wouldn't.
Yeah.
We're talking about a book compared to a TV show. It has to be different. I say stick with it and see where it goes. Again, these are introductory episodes, but thank you very much for the super chat. We very much appreciate the support. We've had another one. JDS $.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you very much for the super chat, my friend. What did you guys think about the Khazad-dûm architecture? And who do you guys think the Meteor Man is? By the way, you guys make great videos, and I really appreciate that you take the time out to make them. Thank you very much for the super chat. The support means a lot. Okay, multiple questions in this. Let's start with Khazad-dûm.
Do you want to start? Or do you want me to start?
You go.
Okay. Khazad-dûm was everything I hoped for and more. It was exactly... I needed it to be grand. I needed it to be spectacular. And it was something I felt they could have easily fallen down on, because, like, how do you make an underground realm look so spectacular, look like it's actually lived in, and look like a race could thrive under there? And I feel like they ticked all those boxes wonderfully. The theme by Bear was incredible and completely nailed the feel of it. And I definitely feel like those bits that we saw in the Fellowship of the Ring could be what happens to this great place if something bad happened to it. I feel like it's just there is that grand hall down there. There is all those extra bits. And yeah, I think it was absolutely nailed.
Yeah, I agree. The fact that they give us a tour of everything and how it all works, I made me believe that a civilization could exist underneath the mountain.
Yes, and it was doing it in a way that wasn't close-ups of the people farming and close-ups of some like this light going like taking the journey of the light through the cave and making it all work. It was just a sweeping shot and showing those things that were there and there, and you kind of just take it in without really like focusing on it, and it just immerses you in that like easily. And yeah.
Who do we think the Meteor Man is? There's a lot of theories going around. A lot of people saying Gandalf. I really don't think so, and I really don't hope. I hope it's not. Some people thinking Blue Wizard. It could be. It could be. Again, it's difficult to know. This is something that Tolkien wrote two versions of, essentially. So it could be a Blue Wizard. It could just... I think it's a Mire of some sort. It's clearly someone that's not familiar with the Earth, has been sent down. Yeah, I don't know. But again, this goes back to us being glad that they're introducing new characters and storylines, because we get to speculate and theorize. The most fun part about watching shows. Who do you guys think the Meteor Man is?
Yeah,
the stranger.
I'm still saying Blue Wizard. But it will come with a con of they've introduced him in a completely wrong way. However, I still think it will be a Blue Wizard.
Yeah.
We had another super chat there.
Yeah, I just want to say, the last part of the comment was, by the way, you guys make great videos. I really appreciate the time. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you very much.
Another super chat from Sebastian. I hope someone is able to acquire rights to Silmarillion and properly tell the first age story. Sad to see that they had to work around it in episode 1.
To be honest, I don't think that will happen until it becomes
public domain.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah, until nobody owns the rights and it's out there for everyone to do. I don't think it will happen because they seem too what's the word? Precious over it. I'm not sure that kind of comes across the right way. But I mean, as the generations go on in the Tolkien family, I feel like money will talk more, which is kind of what's happened with this, to be honest.
Yeah.
This would never have happened with Christopher still alive, like not a chance. And now Christopher gone, these things are becoming more. There's more of an opportunity for this to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the money it took, but it's kind of shown that if this show does work, I think there's going to be a lot of others out there looking at it going, okay, it is worth that money if this is successful.
Yeah. Thank you very much for the super chat, though. Some scenes made me pause the show and ask, is this even Middle Earth? But I'm still interested to see what happens. So, I get that. Be more specific. Which scenes? Let's talk about which scenes. It felt Middle Earth to me. I don't know.
Yeah.
I get it, past didn't, but yeah, overall, I felt it. And I'm glad to be back there.
Yeah.
So
I saw a comment there, someone saying they hope it's Saruman. I hope it's not, because that is definitely supposed to arrive in the third age person, not second. That's too big of a change. Same as with Gandalf. So please.
I don't think it's going to be. I think you say mark my words. I think. Yeah, I mean, for me, if it's Gandalf, that's enough. Or Saruman, that's enough to put me off the show. That's too much.
So there's this one comment by Thomas that it is kind of how I feel. It's people are really hurt by a TV show growing up. I never thought of getting a TV show of a Lord of the Rings, and I love it. And I think that is a lot of it, which, okay, maybe why we are more forgiving in some parts than other people, but the opportunity for this to exist is just, it was unheard of not that long ago. So the fact we now get it and are able to watch it, like, it's an experience. We'll find out at the end if it was a mistake, but we got to take the journey to make that decision.
Yeah. Another super chat here from Hunter S. Thank you very much. Agreed on changes have to be made. I think I would have liked new characters, which would have worked better. Also love the channel. Thanks for the work. Thank you very much. That's why I'm so okay with the introduction of new characters. That's why I like Arondir and the Stranger and Halbrand, I guess. But yeah, it allows us to speculate, and a faithful adaptation wouldn't have worked. But I also think a completely original cast wouldn't have worked either. I think we'd have to have people we're familiar with. But thank you so much for the support. Honestly, it means the world. Oh, we've got a super chat from Martin. How's it going, my friend?
Hey.
Not sure what to make of it. Better than I expected merely a couple of days ago. Probably best looking show ever. Good music. Story, I'll just have to wait and see. They had to make stuff up for Second Age. Yes, the Second Age wasn't very fleshed out. So we have to have made up stuff.
Yeah, unless you want to look at the Fourth Age, it's the least, there's the least information on it, and there's massive gaps in it. So I completely understand it. And I think with everything that was said in the build-up to the show, I'm hoping it is very much on the case of it's better than most people expected. So I know a lot of people were going into it very pessimistic. So were we. We were pessimistic about it. But yeah, it's like, I was going to shout out the music though.
Yeah, agree with that 100%. Beard did a fantastic job, and that's the best looking show ever. It's better looking than most movies. Let's be honest. If anyone that argues that, they're just jumping on the bandwagon.
Because with the music, Howard Shore did such a perfect job on Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
it was almost like you don't want to be the guy to follow that.
No.
The same way you didn't want to be the guy to follow Peter Jackson on Lord of the Rings, which was Peter Jackson with The Hobbit. You didn't want to be that guy because it's just so hard. And I guess working with Howard Shore has helped in a way. There must be some kind of connection that's been made and the feel. But yeah, without that, I think without the standard of music that has been given, it probably wouldn't hit the same.
No, I agree. Martin, thank you so much, as always, for tuning in and for super chatting. It means a lot. Interesting question here from Joseph. What would you do if Elros isn't mentioned, especially in the Numenor scenes? This is a great question. Again, we touched on this in our breakdown, but it's something that bugs us about the Galadriel story. So the way they've gone about this whole Galadriel storyline is odd, to say the least. We're not fans of it. It would have been better if during the ceremony with Gil-galad, she maybe brought up the fact that she still thinks Sauron is rising and rebuilding his strength. And Gil-galad said, don't be silly, we're not helping you do that. And she said, fine, don't help me. I know some people that will. Because she definitely knows about the Numenorians, because they're making it very clear that she's good friends with Elrond, who is the brother of Elros, the first king of Numenor. So yeah, I feel like if Elros isn't mentioned, it would be odd, for sure. He should be, and he should have already been, in my opinion. But good question. I think someone might have just arrived. No, is it?
Not sure that's for us.
Okay.
Okay.
Nice bit of positivity there, Dom. Thank you. The show was great. The Meteor Man is Tom Bombadil 100%. I don't think I've heard too much of that as a theory.
I've seen a couple like joke, but yeah. I mean, I feel like Tom Bombadil always had to have is like the bright blue, the bright yellow. He couldn't arrive without that.
Now this,
and if he didn't arrive,
it's been solved. It's been solved.
Clive. Yes.
Well done, Dom. Well done.
I mean, if there's not a character called Clive in the show now, I'm going to be disappointed.
Louis. Why did Galadriel jump from the ship? It could have very, very well meant her death. Seems so logical. Yeah, it's literally like my biggest hate of the show so far.
The explanation the show gives is she couldn't deal with basically listening to songs of praise of what she'd done when she didn't succeed in what she wanted to do. So that's why she couldn't go there.
Yeah, but she waited till the very last moment to go, I'm going to swim all the way back to Middle-earth.
Which doesn't make any sense because she knew that from before the ceremony, not this made that mind up on the boat. Like, if she was shown more on the fence before she left, it might have worked more, and then she realizes that it's too much, but we knew that she knew that.
Why were you embarrassed? Did you make it? More importantly, why was it awful? Fine to think that, but we want...
reasons.
Where is it? The
discussion.
That's really weird to do because it's backwards. I think we've got a couple of super chats here. Is this a new one?
That's...
Yeah, okay, so a new one here.
Joey.
Just
get that up. So, I loved Celebrimbor talking about the Silmarils and all the talk about Morgoth. I've been waiting to see/hear that lore in live action.
Mm-hmm.
I loved the idea of talking about it, but they really got something wrong here.
Well, I liked hearing about Fëanor, and I liked seeing the hammer and talking about the Silmarils. That was great, and I thought the hammer looked great. It was, and I love hearing about Morgoth too. Don't get me wrong. Every time we hear about Morgoth, I got chills. So, yeah, the only problem was, which I think what you're about to allude to. Carry on.
So there's kind of two things here. So the first is, do the Morgoth thing first. So the story they give about Morgoth, like the Celebrimbor gives, about staring into the Silmarils, and then a tear falls from his eye, and it shows him for what he, like his reflection for what he is. Like he tries to say that the Silmarils could have swayed him, and could have basically, the Silmarils could have made Morgoth good. No, that's just not a thing. Like, you don't have to have all characters be redeemable. They don't need to be. If they're evil, they are evil, and he is the example of pure evil.
Yeah, he's not just evil. Like he is evil in Middle Earth. You know, so that line I hated.
Everything that is evil in Middle Earth came from him and his works and his doing.
But I do like the fact they are talking about Morgoth and Fëanor and the First Age stuff is great.
But to do it, because they're doing it quite rarely, to get it wrong like that, it's just a bit of a why. That didn't change anything of a story point. That didn't make anything move along. It didn't reveal something new. It was just wrong. And the other part that kind of goes with it, with Celebrimbor, is the talking about Fëanor. And he just doesn't really mention the fact that they're related. He kind of talks to him like he's just another elf who was made something really good, and he wants to emulate that and be better. But he doesn't really hint at the fact that this was his ancestor, that he's trying to be like, he's known as the grandson of Fëanor, not as Celebrimbor. Like he needs that almighty feat to basically like overtake his family's like
legacy.
Yeah. So I feel like that was kind of played down a bit, which I feel strange, because it would help for us to understand why Celebrimbor wants to make something so mighty and powerful, not just for vanity's sake.
Yeah, no, I agree. But thank you very much, Joey, for the super chat. We've had another super chat, but I want to cover this question here. Could Theo become the Witch King? Now, this is something I haven't even seen theorized, but we don't know what exactly they're doing with timelines yet, but that could potentially be where they're going, or at least one of the 9. It genuinely could.
Yeah.
We'll see where it goes. I don't know how I'd feel about it,
Yeah.
but it could be the case.
Okay, let's get this super chat. From
Sebastian Dudek.
Sebastian again. Thank you very much,
Was
Sebastian.
it again?
Yes, I believe you've already said them.
Oh.
Just have to say, love the work you do. The show rekindled my love for Tolkien and set me up to nerd out about the Rings of Power. Yes, that is all we've hoped for, good or bad with the show, is that it just brings people in. If this show introduces a whole generation to Tolkien, they go out and buy The Lord of the Rings, they go out and buy The Hobbit, they go out and buy The Silmarillion. That's great. That's what we want.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter if you consider the show fan fiction or not. The books are there, and hopefully this just is a pathway to
bring more people to it. But thank you for saying you love the work we do.
Yes.
We love doing it, so hopefully it comes across. And it's nice that people get to nerd out about this. I'm certainly very excited for the rest of the show. I feel like it sounds like someone's here.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I was going to say, we probably can't be too much longer.
We've got another...
People may...
Yeah, another 15 minutes, I think. I saw a great question a minute ago, and I've lost it. Okay, so JDS, what do you think about Sauron's new symbol? I thought it was really cool. I actually wore, on my suit at the premiere, I wore a pin badge with the symbol on, because it was cool. You wore a dwarven hammer.
Oh, yes.
But yeah, I like it. I think it's a cool symbol. And I'm also, I'm a very, quite heavily tattooed, so I like cool things that would work as tattoos. And I think maybe, if the show keeps going good, maybe that could work. It isn't difficult. Okay, let's get this up. It isn't difficult to do a second age show. Seasons 1 and Season 2, Forging of Rings and Invasion of Eredor. Season 3 and Season 4, The Rise and Fall of Numenor. Season 5 and Season 6, Elendil, etc., and The Last Alliance.
I mean, that works in principle as a very rough overall outline.
Yeah, now turn that into 41-hour-long episodes.
Yeah, it's... How are you getting 16 episodes out of Fortune of the Rings and Invasion of Eredor, including setup and everything else that's going on? If you want to ignore half of Middle-earth, I guess you could try and do it, but yeah, it's...
But also, we don't know that they could be doing that.
Yeah.
Season 1 and 2 could be about the Forging of the Rings and the Invasion of Eredor. You don't know that. So, yeah, you can say it isn't difficult to do, but I don't know. Okay, let's address this. It was awful. Hobbits in the Second Age, Galadriel's Xena warrior storyline, elves looking like imbeciles, dialogue moronic in 60% of the time, people on the raft in the middle of the ocean. Okay, so we'll start with Hobbits in the Second Age. First of all, they are Harfoots and not Hobbits, and they were there in the Second Age. Shire Reckoning began in the Third Age, as in Hobbits in the Shire. Yes, okay, but these aren't Hobbits and it's not the Shire. Tolkien wrote that Harfoots were smaller, dark-skinned wanderers. That's exactly what we've got. So why people are moaning about that is blowing my mind. Do some research. Galadriel's Xena warrior storyline, 100% agree. I don't like it. Elves looking like imbeciles. I don't see that. Again, I wouldn't have given them short hair, but it doesn't bother me after seeing it. Dialogue moronic, no, I don't agree with that. People on the raft in the middle of the ocean, I don't know, where else are they going to be on the raft?
I mean,
if you're shipwrecked, you're going to be somewhere.
We did talk about it. We don't really get... It's the whole issue of not understanding the boat to Valinor part that makes that more confusing. As, you just kind of assume that you sail to Valinor out in the west. So if they're out in the west... Galadriel's swimming back from the west, I should say. Why is there a shipwreck out there? What's that to... there was not enough explanation of that. I do agree. Seemed very plot pointy. Convenient plot point.
What do you think about Fëanor's hammer? I thought it looked great.
It did.
It looked very cool. Could we see them hint at some of the 9? I think they will, yes.
I hope so. That's something that I do hope is kind of covered. I would love to be able to see that initial corruption and transformation into it. And they are cool. I know there's not much written about them in that point, but yeah.
I don't know, but I can't wait to see it.
That's got to be second season. You got to get Super Saiyan 1 first, so you get that in season 1.
No, Harfoot are hobbits.
They're ancestors of
They're
it.
descended from. It's
Yeah, there's basically the three breeds that become the hobbits of the Shire at the end of it. You have the Harfoots, the Fallowhides, and the Stores. So it's kind of like, it's like they are and they are. Yeah.
Yeah. No, you do your research. It's all I do all day, every day. It's my job. Okay. What do you think about the dialogue? Elves being called knife ears, pointy ears, and so on. I think it's pretty realistic. Very, very sadly, like racism exists in real life. Why wouldn't it exist there? I guess that's basically what it is, a form of racism. So yeah, I don't have an issue with it. Is Celebrimbor cringe in your opinion? No, I really liked him. And the actor was great. I thought he was really cool. We met him as well. The guy is very, very suave in real life. Not that that matters for the show, but yeah, I liked him. Okay, good question here. What do you think is in the box at the end with Durin? Mithril. Yeah, it's without a doubt going to be Mithril. That's what Khazad-dûm is famous for, is mining Mithril. And with Disa referring to like singing to the mountains to show the best places to mine and stuff, like I think, yeah, it's got to be Mithril. Okay. Yeah, Mithril. I like Princess Disa's cheek fluff. Reminds me of trying to grow a beard at the start of high school. Yeah, so it's cool. She did have a beard, which is great. Yeah, so people that moaned about that can stop moaning. There's a good point. I'm a hardcore fan, and I'm loving the series because the lore will always exist. People act like it's overwriting it. Yeah, we have said this for God knows how long. Literally, this isn't replacing the books. It's not replacing Peter Jackson's trilogy. It's not doing anything. You don't have to love this, and you don't have to see it as, like you're saying, overwriting.
They haven't done a Disney and killed Star Wars Legends for their new sequel trilogy. This is a like. Oh,
it's just fan fiction. Yeah. It's what it is. Just enjoy it for what it is.
Do we think later seasons will introduce Anatar, Lord of Gifts? I feel like they have to.
Yeah.
If he's not included, that's again a massive.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Wrong point.
Comment here. I liked Disa. Yeah, she was fantastic. She was one of my favorite things about the show, actually. It is not Tolkien related, so bye. I mean, you're wrong, but bye. She needs a beard to be a dwarf. Watch the show. She has one.
Yes.
Just like in real life, we have different length beards. Not everyone has to have the same length beard. She has a beard.
Oh. Chris, the Liverpool fan, has joined as a new member. Thank you very much, Chris.
Appreciate that, Chris. Yeah, the cheek fluff is a nice touch. I agree with that.
Yes.
Could the stranger be Saruman? It could be anyone. I hope it's not. It shouldn't be Saruman. It shouldn't be Gandalf. Could potentially be the Blue Wizards, or a Blue Wizard. But no, it shouldn't be Saruman. What role, if any, will the Ents play in the series? It's a good question. I haven't even thought about it, if I'm honest.
I think, well, obviously we get the shot of what appears to be Ents, could be Horns, with the meteor flying over. I think it'll be a case of they're going to be used to show Sauron's power later when he's destroying stuff.
Yeah, probably. Good question, though. Another super chat from Martin. I felt it was weird about Galadriel being thrown off the ship near Valinor. It should be hundreds of leagues, not possible to swim. Safe or not. Yeah, we touched on that earlier, mate. Like, that's the worst decision of the show so far, in my opinion.
Yeah. It didn't make any sense why they would do it. And yeah, stuff like that is where, like, you just wish you could get the showrunners in an interview and be like, look, explain.
Yeah.
What is the reasoning behind this?
maybe it'll become clear. It's not going to. We don't know until we see it all. Thanks to Super Chat. I'm not a fan of the Elven costume design, especially compared to Weta's work, but I do feel like it's Middle Earth, but with an Amazon overcoat. I get that for sure.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I think Weta's Elven design is better. I do like Arondia's wooden armor. I think it's original and really cool. Yeah, it does feel like Middle Earth, but there is a hint of, I wouldn't even say like Amazon-ness to it, just a hint of corporate.
Yeah, I feel like there's a tough line to and this isn't like a defending thing at all, but they can't copy what they did in the other films. Yeah, they can't copy the designs from the movies and stuff, but those are so good. So it's like, how close can you go without going, like, you don't want to copy, but you don't want to go too far away. That must be a hard line to draw.
The trees growing from the love between the Durins family seemed so much like Tolkien. Yeah, I agree. That was a lovely scene.
Although I think he would have actually spent more of the episode about the tree.
Yeah.
I think we would have got at least half an hour of just talking about the tree if it was really Tolkien. So maybe that's actually one of the worst lore points of the entire show, is there wasn't enough of the tree.
Creative Beal says, yo, I really thought the single orc encounter in the house was a great thrill moment, really showed how scary they are to peasants. Yeah, we were saying this earlier. Imagine an orc in real life. Like, how terrifying would that be? And the fact that they're kind of treating it like almost like a horror sequence, I think, is the right way to go. Because orcs, I mean, I wouldn't want to come across one, especially coming out of the floor in my living room.
Yeah.
If it's fan fiction, right, okay, let's get this out. If it's fan fiction, it isn't Tolkien, and they shouldn't be using it as a direct tie into the books or anything he wrote. It's just trying to cash grab off of fame without doing it justice. Let's get this straight. No one and nothing can be Tolkien now. Does that make sense? Tolkien is dead. R.I.P. Professor. But anything that comes after it, it's not. They're not calling this canon. This isn't written by Tolkien. It's nothing to do with his notes. This is fan fiction, essentially. Just as I see the sequel Star Wars trilogy as fan fiction. It is. George Lucas didn't make it, but I still enjoy it. It's still good entertainment. Books, TV, movies, they're entertainment. That's all it is. Being 100% faithful to Tolkien's writings doesn't make it entertaining. It doesn't adapt well necessarily from page to screen.
I think we've had a new super chat.
Oh, we've had two.
Oh.
Is Halbrand Sauron from JT? It's a strong theory. I really
would hate it.
I would hate it as well. There's a few decisions like that that would really put me off. Like if there's a relationship or anything going on between him and Galadriel, I would hate it. If the stranger is Gandalf, I'll hate it. I don't think so. I think maybe they're trying to throw us off the trail and making it seem like he could be. Would be my guess. Thank you for the super chat. Martin, Gil-galad granting passage to Valinor is a slightly jarring lore change for me. I feel that should be Manway's decision. Yeah, again, we touched on this earlier. One of the bigger things for us in terms of negatives was this. It's stupid.
It was just, it just doesn't make sense. I can't. There's not a single defense to it, in my opinion. So yeah, agreed. Yeah,
it's a tough one. Thanks for another super chat, mate. Yeah, this line here. Notice how Halbrand said looks can be deceiving. Yes, this again is hinting at it, but like I just said, I think this is another case of them trying to throw us off the trail. At least I hope. I don't want him to be Sauron. It kind of makes sense if he is. Like I get it, because his whole thing is he's a master deceiver. So I would understand it. I just hope it's not the case. Right, exactly. Thank you very much. The infamous Kiki. I have watched both 3 times now, and they are growing on me. Still a 5 out of 10 at the moment. Fair enough. I'm glad you are giving it a chance, though. That's exactly what you should be doing. This is another comment that's worth bringing up from Jacob. Do these haters understand that even the Peter Jackson movies aren't direct adaptations of The Lord of the Rings? There are vast differences from book to screen. Yeah, people seem to forget that. There are so many changes in the Lord of the Rings movies that, man, like, I mean, I got into the movies first, but I think if I'd read the books before, we were like 10, I think I would have been so frustrated. Like, imagine elves turning up to save the day at Helm's Deep.
Yeah.
Like, that would have been a tragic decision. But it worked because it's cinema and it's a different medium of entertainment.
Yes. And it's the same, like, I know it's completely different fandom at this point, but with Harry Potter, that is one thing. I did read the books first before I saw the movies. And I always remember feeling that I was always disappointed with things that were left out or changed for that. It would be the same, and it will always be the same. But obviously now, with the internet, everything's made very apparent if that's the case. Where back then, things weren't made so easy to find out, and complaints weren't made so loud.
Yeah. This is a good comment. Sauron needs to deceive the audience. I don't want it to be too apparent. I agree. The only way they're going to make that work is if we don't see it coming. So if it's Halbrand and people are already going, he's going to be Sauron, then it won't work. For it to be believable, for Sauron to be able to fool someone like Ar-Pharazôn, then he also needs to be able to deceive us. That will be good storytelling if they do that.
Yes.
And I hope they do. I've watched the first 2 episodes 8 times now, and I hate it worse each time.
Oh.
I mean, it sounds like you're doing it to yourself. The lack of the Wilhelm scream in The Lord of the Rings disturbs me. Same here. Halbrand could not be Sauron. Galadriel would have seen through him. She lived in Valinor, she lives between worlds, and Sauron could not hide his Maya self from her.
In lore, yes. Depends how they do it for the show.
Yeah.
I hate to give that answer, but yeah. Yeah.
3-year-olds could write better dialogue. Come on now.
I mean, I don't think my 3-year-old could. Unless you want to talk about Peppa Pig, but you know.
Yeah. Sauron is the peasant boy with the broken sword. Broken sword. Could also be turning him in towards one of the 9. There's lots of theories going around, which I'm super. This is why I like the new stuff. We get to speculate. I love it. Yeah. Would we be able to see the Mouth of Sauron? So the Mouth of Sauron was a Black Numenorian, essentially, right? So potentially.
So long as they don't try and introduce us someone with a very obviously big mouth. Like,
It's a CG mouth.
Okay, so now it's just gone, 2:30 here.
We'll give it a few more minutes.
We'll say 5-minute warning.
Yeah, people will start turning up because we have a class in about 25 minutes. So, yeah. What do we think about the elf short here? Bugged me at first. After watching it, didn't bother me. I don't like Arondir's hair, but I like his character, and it works on him. So that's my 2 cents on the matter. Yeah, this is a good point, Chris. I know they couldn't, but I wish they could copy and paste the armor and weapon designs from the films to put in the show. I love the Noldor armor from the films.
Oh yeah, yeah, they nailed it so well for the movies. It's just unreal.
Yeah. I'm calling it now. Sauron is a stranger. I don't think so. We have another super chat. Thank you very much, JDS $. What do you guys think about the warg? And do you think? And what do you think about the orc battle scene? By orc battle scene, do you mean the prologue or the house? I mean, I like both. The warg looked pretty cool. It's one of the few 100% CGI characters, I guess, in the show. Yeah. We know we're going to see a scene where the stranger comes face to face with a group of them. Is it a warg or a wolf?
They're not far off.
Yeah, same.
I imagine wolf probably, but they're probably going to call them wargs because it's Middle Earth. Yeah, that'd be my guess.
Yeah. As for the orc battle scene, if you're talking in the house, I really, really enjoyed. Oh, the prologue. Oh, sorry. Okay, so the prologue, phenomenal. I wanted more of it. If the eventual battle sequences end up looking anything like that, we're in for a treat. It's the best thing I can say. Thanks again for the super chat. Really looking forward to the transformation of the Southlands into the wasteland that is Mordor.
Yes. Yeah, it's going to be very interesting on how different Middle-earth looks by the end of the show to what we've seen right now.
Out of 5, I rate it 3.5. This is from Kristen. It's not as bad as I thought it would be. I listened too much to the haters. Yeah, that's going to be a big problem with this show, is it had so much hate leading up to it for not a lot of justified reasons, really. That it's going to be in the back of people's minds. It's a big shame.
Yeah, very much so.
Sorry, guys. So many. Okay, I'm seeing some interesting theories here. Trying to keep up, guys. Apologies. Okay, yeah. Someone's saying here, indeed, either a Maya or a Starry. Yep, I'm assuming you're on about the Stranger for sure. That prologue battle scene probably cost 400 million of the 500 million budget. It did look huge. It looked better than any movie I've ever seen.
Yes. From Dweller on the said the wargs in the Rings of Power look similar to John Howe's depiction of wargs, because he's the guy who designed most of it. He, like the ice troll, that's all him. Most of the creatures, I believe, are him.
We got to meet John Howe the other day as well. That was pretty cool.
Nice guy.
He's a very nice guy. The score is amazing. Yes, it is. One of the coolest things about the show, for sure.
Okay, I think it's going to be last couple of comments now, and then we'll round things up.
I really hope Sauron isn't someone we have met in the first episodes. Same here. I would be very disappointed if it is.
Yeah, I kind of hope that we don't really get a hint of him, at least till the finale of season 1.
Yeah.
Bloody
hell.
I mean, there's a fair comment.
Yeah. I clicked on this on accident, but it's a good point. People who hate this show, I feel sorry for you. You're missing out on enjoying something great. I agree. Less stubbornness. Be more like Durin. Forgive. It legit looked movie quality. I'm curious if they can keep that up season 2 and beyond. I hope so.
I think they will. I can't see them letting it slip.
No. The famous Kiki. I liked your channel, but love it even more. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We have another super chat here before we go. If anybody wants a question answered, super chat's the way to do it before we leave. Does Tolkien's writing that references Galadriel as having Amazon disposition help you swallow what they are doing with her character? I don't. What? You mean, when you say Amazon disposition, do you mean like Amazonian, like Wonder Woman sort of?
Right.
Rather than Amazon. Is that what you're getting at?
I can't really see like anything helps me with the character at this point. It's going to be the storyline and the way they go with it in the show. I have just accepted this Galadriel is not the same Galadriel that I knew.
Yeah.
And we'll just have to take it from there and see what happens.
Yeah. Thank you very much for the super chat. Ranger of the North, what's going on? Michael Vanen. Sorry you couldn't be here earlier. No problem. You can always... We're planning on doing many more live streams in future, especially now with this new platform. I think it's much, much better. So more to come.
One more down the bottom.
Yeah. I've just... I've seen a few, but it's gone. Sorry, guys. Can't keep up with these. Another super chat from Martin. Thank you very much. Is all Mordor a wasteland in Lord of the Rings time? It seems only Gorgoroth is. Nern is kind of fertile, as I understand it. Unsure where Valade was. I think Gorgoroth is the main, I guess, wasteland. It depends where the darkness is spread, I suppose you could say. I'm not sure it's explicitly said which areas are still green, I guess you could say, or not. Do you know?
No, off the top of my head, I just know it's not somewhere you'd really want to live.
No. So I feel sorry for the actors. Why? They're in a great show and being paid a lot of money. I'm jealous of the actors. I feel sorry for the fact that they've been abused. That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
There was a question a second ago about whether we think Glorfindel will be in season 2.
I mean, he's supposed to arrive with the Blue Wizards, so if they arrive, Meteor Man is one, maybe.
No, I do not think it's Gandalf, and
Nope.
We'll stop watching the show if it is, I think. What do we think of Disa's accent? I'm not British, but it sounded weird. I thought it was great. I loved everything about her character. She was fantastic.
Yeah. It didn't pull me out of the scene or anything like that. I didn't really think much about it.
Yeah.
It was fine.
Okay. Anything else, guys? Because we are about to go off the stream and round this up. Obviously, if you want to know more about our thoughts in detail, our episode 1 review is up. We went through all the pros and cons of each moment. It ended up having a lot more cons than I expected. So if you really want to know what we thought in detail, go and check that out. Episode 2's version will be up within the next couple of hours. So keep an eye out for that too. We will see you on Friday for an episode 3 watch party, I think.
Yep. And every upload in between.
Yeah. Guys, thanks so much. Thanks for everyone that calls us a shill. Whatever. Hope it makes you happier. Thanks for the support from all you lovely people. We really, really appreciate it. I hope you guys are enjoying the show, because it would be sad not to. Okay. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you very much. Again, for all the super chats and the comments. Hope you have a great day, and we will see you next time on The Broken Sword.
Goodbye, everybody.